Hey, everybody, and good evening. Happy long weekend. Um, I must confess, sometimes it's really hard to get the gist of what order certain games came out or when they were released, because as a kid, I don't. There's certain moments that I still remember that triggers when certain events occurred or certain things came out, whether that be movies or certain games that are memorable for me or some kind of memory associated with it. And obviously, it's pretty obvious that the TMNT or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise is a big part of my life, at least from a nostalgic childhood perspective. And last time played, we streamed TMNT 2, the arcade game, the NES version. And based on release dates stated in the strategy guide, the next game I was going to stream was going to be TMNT 2, Back from the Sewers, but something just seemed off about that. Like, it didn't seem like that was the next game in succession, because there's music in that game that is similar to TMNT 3, the Manhattan Project for the NES, which I do know came out in February of 1992. And I do know that Turtles in Time came out after the Super Nintendo version. Turtles 4, because Super Nintendo came out in 1991, fall of 91, but we didn't get that till 92. But I do know that the arcade version of that came out in 1991. So, and we're talking like 1991 in like before Back from the Sewers came out. So originally I was thinking we were going to stream Back from the Sewers first, but it is in fact TMNT Turtles in Time, the arcade version, which, my unpopular opinion, is not my favorite Turtles game of all time. And most people seem to think that, or have the opinion that Turtles in Time is the best Turtles arcade game. Don't get me wrong, it is a great game, but I do prefer the SNES version over the arcade game, mainly because there's more levels and there's more characters, like nostalgic factor with that one, as opposed to the arcade version. That's just me, and I have played both of them, but only recently have I actually played through the whole arcade game in the last few years, mainly because I got the arcade one-up. But anyway, my bad. I thought it was Back from the Sewers, and Back from the Sewers does have a special moment in my heart, family moment. I will tell you what that is when we stream it, which is the next one officially. But let's get on with Turtles in Time, the arcade version. If I didn't state it before, um, if you did purchase the Cowabunga collection for the PS4 or the PS5 or the Xbox series of systems, um, it's a very easy game to gain all the trophies or achievements, because the only achievements in it are to actually complete each game, more or less. Like, there's no like unusual do a 100 hit combo or something like that um, to unlock a certain achievement. So if you're looking to raise your gamer score or your trophy ranking, it's definitely a title that will make that a little bit easier for you, depending on how good you are at the games. But as you've seen, though, most of these games, though, we can more or less complete them in less than 2 hours. For most of them, at least that's what I've experienced. And who are we gonna pick? We picked Mikey in the arcade game. We picked Donnie in the NES version. So I am going to pick Raph this time. Just for a little variety, you know. I can't keep picking the same character. That's another thing I wasn't really too keen on, was the opening theme song, as opposed to the original arcade game, which had the theme song, like the theme song, you know, the one featured in the cartoon written by Chuck Lorre, not the different version one used in the beginning of this. But difference between Turtles in Time and the original arcade game.
My toes, my toes.
Oh yeah, the voiceover was definitely better in the SNES version. The sound effects were definitely better. You would think that the arcade version would be the superior version. But I don't know. I just prefer the SNES version for some reason more than the arcade version. It's mostly due to the enemy layout, though. But there's definitely different moves sets in Turtles in Time as opposed to the original one.
Let's kick shell!
This is April O'Neil reporting.
Hey, Krang, bring that statue back, you bloated beanbag.
Bloated beanbag. Alright. So, some of the new moves that are included in Turtles in Time as opposed to the original. Well, one of them is throwing the foot soldiers at the screen. That body slam that I just did. And in the Super Nintendo version, you'll make use more of that throw the foot into the screen move. I'm not too sure actually if it is in the arcade version. It definitely is in the SNES version. Because I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to remember how to do it, but yeah, the sound effects were definitely better
Pizza time.
in the SNES version. Oh, there we go. So it does exist. Of course, there's a boss fight in the SNES version where you are required to do that move in order to defeat that boss.
Prepare to die.
That was stupid. That's another move. That sliding kick.
Pizza time.
Terminate the turtles.
And that flying kick. In the SNES version, they actually had a life bar, so you could see how much health they have remaining. Like the original arcade game, though, they start flashing. That's how you know how much damage you've done, or whether near health, whether near death when you're about to beat them.
blues.
The music is the same though, but I don't know why. I just think the SNES version
Cool off, sucker.
is better. In all honesty, though, I do like the effort put into it. It's just when you're so used to something, like the cartoon in particular, you'd expect at least there to be some iteration of that there. And I think that's why Shredder's Revenge is held in such high regard, is because it features the actors doing all the voices, well, with the exception of certain ones, because, you know, obviously.
This cave is creepy.
Better eat that
Pizza time.
before it gets away. Yeah, the nostalgic factor with the voiceover, like the main four characters in particular being voiced by their original voice actors, is what made Shredder's Revenge that much more special. But it does pay homage to, like, you know, the first two arcade games in terms of, like, you know, gameplay, moveset, and even boss fights too, and characters that were featured in it. But the enemy set in the arcade version of this versus the Super Nintendo version is clear. Like those boxing glove robots, they only appear in the arcade version, and instead we got Roadkill Rodney, who was in
Pizza power.
the cartoon as well as the original arcade game.
Cool off, sucker.
Pizza time.
I'm going to mangle you green slime balls.
Also using, each turtle has a special move, and
Oh, shell shock.
Let's kick shell.
I keep doing that. I want to add more lives like I did when I was doing the playthrough of the first arcade game. You know, so I didn't have to keep continuing. Oh, shite. Come on. Some of the animations were different though, from the arcade game to the original.
Surfing.
And in the arcade version, I mean the Super Nintendo version, this level was a bonus level where you gain bonus pizza to gain more points, you know, to gain more extra lives and stuff like that. And also, I should mention, in the SNES version of this, you get, like, obviously there's a difficulty level setting in the home version, and you can beat the game on normal, you can beat the game on easy, whatever it is, and you can give yourself as many lives as you want in the options and the settings.
Shell shock.
Let's kick shell.
There are no more problems.
Let's kick shell.
We'll be here a while now. But you can give them as many lives as you, I think up to 7 or 8 extra lives. But even if you beat the game on normal, you'll go back to, you'll see the credits, but you'll go back to the Turtles layer at the end, and then Splinter will tell you, you know, you're not a true ninja yet, go and do a higher difficulty setting. So really, if you want to see the best ending, you have to play the game on hard. And you could still, like, increase the number of continues and increase the number of extra lives you have to make it easier on you. But it doesn't actually seem that hard in hard mode. That just seems to be the same level of difficulty as the arcade version. But to showcase that the real ending is only available in hard mode is kind of... I just want to say it shouldn't matter what difficulty level. Well, maybe it.
Pizza time.
I don't remember the pizza monsters ever blowing up. Doing too hot.
My patience is wearing thin. I'm banishing you to a time warp from which you will never return.
In the original, you got banished
Prehistoric
to the
turtle
time warp after the Technodrome level, which is one of the levels that was added into the SNES version. And then the boss of... There's two bosses in the Technodrome. There's Toka and Razor, who in the original arcade version, they're fought in the pirate level. So, and instead, in their place in the SNES version in the pirate level, it's Bebop and Rocksteady, who are not in the arcade version, which seemed kind of dumb because they're like two of the key villains in the series. But the Technodrome level, which is after the Sewer Serpent level, that one has two bosses. Toka and Razor is first, and then Shredder, like regular Shredder, at the end of the level. And in that boss fight, that's the boss fight where you have to use the throw the foot soldier at the screen attack in order to damage Shredder, because it's from a different point of view that you're fighting Shredder. In this level, the boss is the muck monster that Baxter created in the SNES version with Slash. Slash made more sense to me. Leatherhead's the same, and then all the other levels for the most part are the same, except with the exception of the final boss. In this version, it's Shredder. In SNES version, it's Super Shredder. I don't remember dinosaurs breathing fire. There's little nuances that in the arcade version that aren't in the home version.
Pizza time.
Cement Man lives.
Cement Man.
Man, I I just had a shower. No. No. Man, I just had a shower.
I pretty much prefer Slash than fighting the mud monster. Or as he calls it, the blob monster.
No. Man, I just had a shower. No.
But literally this game though, the way it feels when you play it, even the SNES version, it's more like a button masher. Like you don't strategically have to play, like do special moves and stuff like that in order to make it efficient.
Skull and crossbones.
But if you like Turtles in Time, that's fine. Like it's a good game. It's definitely a must-own for the Super Nintendo. One reason I didn't understand why it wasn't included on the SNES Classic, because I've watched videos on YouTube about top 20 or top 10 SNES games, and in most of those lists, Turtles in Time is listed somewhere. Especially it being the quintessential TMNT game on the SNES hardware. There were only two, as far as I know, the other one being Tournament Fighters. Which is a unique beast in its own right, and by far the best version of Tournament Fighters over the three that were released.
Ooh, I feel seasick.
I always thought that was a jellyfish that he throws at you.
Pizza power! No. No.
It does look like a jellyfish though. At least in the SNES version it does. Why we're fighting a lot of the jellyfish
I
guys.
feel seasick.
No. No. Duh, my nose. No.
Can't believe we're almost at the end of the level. We're close.
Pizza time. No.
Much harder when you think about it, when you're fighting two of them at the same time. He does get on my nerves. In the SNES version, you could beat up Razor when he turns into the dog.
Bury my shell at Wounded Knee. No. No.
Ooh, I feel seasick.
No. No.
When in doubt, use a special move.
Ooh, I feel seasick.
When you're surrounded,
No. 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 Pizza time. No. No.
it's fairly easy to lose lives in this game.
Ooh, I feel seasick.
No. No.
Ooh, I feel seasick.
No.
Oh, good.
Pizza time. No.
Leatherhead.
No. Yeah.
A lot of them sound just like apes that groan when they fall over. In the SNES version, though, he blows up and then jumps off the train.
Neon Night Riders.
The view of this level is also different in the SNES version. instead of it being linear like it is right now, it's actually like into the screen. They said they wanted to utilize, what was that thing? Mode 7, I think is what it's called. Of course, we gotta get the jellyfish foot. How come I didn't get any of those? And the robot. It's really hard when you're surrounded.
Pizza time.
There, I got one. Get out of here.
Face the wrath of Super Krang.
Oy, so hard to hit him. Block special attack.
You're going to pay.
Cowabunga!
Starbase, where no turtle has gone before. I'm trapped.
Oh, more little annoying robots.
I'm trapped. Pizza power.
I feel seasick.
Jellyfish foot. Boy, yeah, certainly more of those jellyfish foot in the arcade version. Excuse me. It's been a very long and tiring
Now
day.
I'm too cool. Pizza time.
Doing a lot of rearranging of
Now I'm
game
too
rooms.
cool.
This one included.
Now I'm too cool.
I wonder if that's Mars outside.
Pizza power. Forgot the sun cream. You shellheads are dead. I'm trapped.
Yeah, the voices weren't that great in this game compared to
Anyone got a pin? I'm trapped. Anyone got a pin? Anyone got a pin?
Anyone got a pin?
That hole's our way home. Let's go.
Oh, I never noticed that Krang was still in the ship when it blew up. He's still there.
Technodrome, the final shell shock.
He has a lightsaber.
My favorite.
It almost feels though like the SNES version is longer somewhat. He commits suicide.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, our 4 reptilian heroes, have overcome the Arc villain Shredder.
Again, like the first arcade game, not very long. Maybe a little bit of a disappointment. I'm not too sure, but that's why I don't get it. Why, like, some people think that it's like the greatest Turtles game ever made. Like, the SNES version at least is a little bit longer and is a little bit more nostalgic, you know, in terms of the cartoon. But the arcade version, I like it, but it's not as good as the SNES version, in my opinion. At least with the original arcade version, like the first game, it's a bit more nostalgic. That seems to be it.
Big Apple, 3
And then it just
a.m.
goes into a loop. But anyway, this has been Turtles in Time for the arcade stream tonight. Next game in the stream series for Cowabunga Collection, it will be what I thought it would have been. Oh geez, I didn't know Splinter. Oh, he drops a bomb on you. I did not know that. Well, he says go. And in the SNES version, it's April. I wonder if he'll do it again. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. Stay beautifully imperfect. And he's gonna drop a bomb on my ass right now. Have a good one.